Yeah, so Astadia is a software consulting company, and we help companies deal with problems in marketing and sales through automation. And so we work with companies to help them do things like a Salesforce automation. And so as we started to go down that path, we recognized that many of these companies had issues with legacy systems, and they were moving to a new application, and how did they migrate that data, and so forth. And so we really started to take a look at how we could help them through custom coding and other ways to do integration for these customers. Early on in our in Astadia's life cycle, 2003, a lot of the work we did was custom coding, and it wasn't until we started recognizing the need for this kind of repeatable integration that we started looking for partners, and it was then that we really found a real need and started talking to Pervasive and working with Pervasive to help us with many of our integration needs. Instead of writing all these different custom applications to support an integration with SAP or Oracle, Pervasive had those things in their suite of tools, and so we were able to leverage that and move through the integration and implementation of our services much quicker. The reason we selected Pervasive as a partner with Astadia was because they've been in the business for a long time. They understand the data world very well. They move data very quickly, and they have over 150 different connectors. And so whether we were connecting to some type of a legacy thing, which could have been as simple as an Excel spreadsheet, or something very complex like an Oracle financial system or SAP, Pervasive had those tools available, and it made it very easy for us to do integrations in comparison to the alternative. Astadia, as a system integrator, we've done something like 6,000 implementations around the world, and so it's a common challenge for us to do integration. So we typically use Data Profiler as a front-end piece to understand the data. The client will say, well, I've got these types of requirements, and it's interesting when you start analyzing their own data, you say, well, 30% of your data meets this requirement, the other 70% doesn't. And so as we move that data, we'll begin to add rules in using the Pervasive technology to really transform that data to this requirement that they've had or may have had over time that just wasn't either checked or managed properly throughout the life cycle of that company. Some of our largest clients process millions of records a day, and so we work in some very tight windows and production environments. We have some media clients that we work with that have to transform data in a 4-hour production window so they can print all their advertising and so forth across all their markets. As an example, we have other clients that are end consumer or consumer-based models, so they have millions of clients around the world, and so they're tracking every one of those instances. And so as you can imagine, if you had 1 million customers and there's a support case and contact record and all those different things that could happen within that client or that customer, there's a lot of different records that might be moved on a daily or weekly basis. I think when it comes to challenges, we've certainly had our fair share of challenges, and it's not so much that it's with a tool or a technology. It's really with data in itself. And the biggest challenges that we see in the marketplace are inconsistencies in how data is inputted. And so, one part of the company might put the state in with the full name, another part of the company might use the abbreviation, and so you're left with this this challenge really of, okay, I've got to transform this now to one consistent data set. And so how do you do that? And so Pervasive allows us to quickly analyze and understand what data needs to be transformed, and then be able to write the configuration and rules to allow us to transform it to the client specification. When I think about a client that was dealing with different systems and maybe they had a custom integration, or they didn't have Pervasive as part of their suite of tools to manage data, we had a lot of common types of comments that would come from our clients. Inconsistent data, inability to move data in a scheduled basis or a batch basis across platforms, just a whole level of issues that were fairly consistent with our clients. And after implementing Pervasive as a solution, they were able to, one, know when there was a problem with data that didn't actually get transformed into another database or moved into another application. Their ability to ensure that the data was being transformed consistently between applications, if that was a requirement. And so they certainly saw a significant benefit after implementing the Pervasive solution. My favorite part about Data Profiler is our ability as a system integrator to really go in and evaluate customers' data up front. And so we're able to go in and look at a sample of that data and understand what that data looks like, what it's going to take to do that work, and it helps us give the customer a better estimate around the data. That's a significant win for us and for the client. I think that it's challenging for senior executives when they're looking to understand what it's going to cost, and it's time and materials, and we're saying, well, we think it's 100 hours, we think it's 50 hours, but be able to really isolate down the types of things that we're going to be working on and helping them is really important. And Data Integrator is also just a great product, and one of the things that we enjoy about Data Integrator is our ability to quickly configure, and connect, especially when we're working in environments with Oracle or SAP, where there's a lot of different things happening in that environment, but to quickly understand and map out that the data mapping and then provide that connectivity and demonstrate in a very quick amount of time the capability and how we can integrate those two solutions is very powerful. I've had a lot of conversations with Mike and the team about where I see the future of data moving, and it's exciting to see that they have this vision around providing data as a service, and I think that's really a key element in the future of SaaS. Really, is that these new companies are coming out and they don't really have an IT organization. They don't have a data room or a data center. They're building everything in the cloud. Whether they're using Google Apps or they're using Salesforce CRM. Or a combination of all those things, and maybe their website's being run by clickability, but the ability to then integrate that information in the cloud is significant, and I think that the data integrator in the cloud makes a lot of sense, and I think that's a direction that is exciting for both us as a system integrator as well as with Pervasive.